Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We had some technical difficulties, so we're just a little shy of starting. So we're okay now. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the traditional homeland of the Métis Nation. My name is Ron Merritt. I'll be your chairperson this morning and introducing the other members of our panel is Ms. Kathleen Garrity and Mr. Robert Faluk. Our assessor this morning is Mr. Drew Thiessen, and our recording secretary is Michelle Neepin. This morning we'll be hearing an application for revision of the assessment rule in accordance to the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested has been described in each application, and we'll limit discussions to those matters. The statements that the applicant or the assessor make at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anybody speaking on these matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it, along with the City Administration. We make our decisions based on the evidence provided at the hearing and issue a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decision in respect to the application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to Court of Queen's Bench if the matter pertains to application for exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included in the board's order. In the respect to the hearing this morning, I will confirm the matters to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We'll then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the other applicant may have, and then it'll be the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each party will have the opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all evidence about the application is brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket this morning. The session will close after all applicants have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the order by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live stream recorded and will be part of the public record. We'll ask our secretary to swear in the assessor, and then we will have the first applicant.
Okay, just give me a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
The applicant for 112 Melrose, can you hear me?
Hi there.
Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we can't see you. Are you able to put your video stream back on?
Oh boy, sorry. There you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm just going to start with swearing in or affirming in the assessor, okay?
Okay.
Back. Okay, Mr. Thiessen, can you state your full name, please?
Drew Thiessen.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And now for the applicant, can you state your full name, please?
Kata Umtangvichit.
And do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, we will proceed and we'll go to the first property that we have is 112 Melrose Avenue West. So we will first hear from the assessor, Mr. Seaton. If you would take us through the subject property and describe how you concluded value for the subject property. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Roll number 09000085000112 Melrose Avenue West. Our property is located in the Melrose neighborhood. It is a two-story building built in 1916. The living area is 2366 square feet. It has a part basement rather than being a full basement. The basement is not finished. There are 2 full bathrooms in the house. There is a central air conditioner. There is a detached multi-car garage. The assessed lot size is 3189 square feet, and the property is adjacent to commercial. There was a recent sale in December that was a foreclosure sale. It was post-reference, so I do not have the value for that attached to the evidence here. The comparables are in three different neighborhoods, but nearby the subject. There's one in Kern Park, one in Melrose, like the subject, and 2 in Victoria West. 2 of the properties are 1 3/4 story buildings, and 2 of them are 2 stories. They are built between 1912 and 1918. The living areas are between 1352 square feet to 1608 square feet. One of the comparables has a part basement like the subject. One of them has only a surface foundation. One of them has a full basement with a part area, and then one of them has a full basement. 3 of the comparables have finished basements as well, and the bathroom counts are slightly variable between them. Central air does not exist in Comp 1 and Comp 3, and there is a fireplace in Comp 3. There are no garages at Comp 1 or Comp 2. Comp 4 does have a multi-car garage, and Comp 3 has only a detached single-car garage. The assessed lot size of the comps is between 2970 square feet and 3600 square feet, and only 356 Melrose Avenue West Comp 2 has a land influence of the commercial adjacent influence, just like the subject. The other ones do not have any land influences. The time adjusted sale prices range between $218,100 to $268,800, which on a square foot basis is $140.53 per square foot and $195.21 per square foot. And this leads me to believe that the value is fair at $240,000 for the 2021 assessed value, based on market value at April 1st of 2018, which would be a assessment per square foot of $101.44 per square foot. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Thiessen. Questions by the applicant to the assessor in regards to anything that he's presented?
Well, so when I had purchased my home, it was the property tax was listed as $1,920.47. When you're purchasing a home, you take all that into account in terms of your budgeting and all that stuff. And that value price was very appealing to me, having a family to budget into my budget. So I understand that taxes can change. So when I enrolled initially in January, which is 2021, I had the amount of 115. My question is, and then a month after, I had a budget, an amount of $239. That's $124 difference. If you calculate that for the year, that is $2,868 difference. That's a significant amount. It's not $20, it's not $40. So my question is, on the first enrollment, what was that based on? If it was supposed to be $239, how come that was not in the first enrollment?
I interrupt for a second. And
yeah.
Here we're just discussing the assessments that has a bearing on your taxes. But we're here today to really talk about the assessed value of the property. So,
okay, so what was it based, your assessed value, what is that based on? There's what you've listed in the upgrades, those remain the same.
Okay,
my question is, how did you come up with that amount based on your information?
The question is to the assessor. So Mr. Thiessen, can you answer that question?
So what happened previously is we had an inaccurate property record, which we have updated through a review of the MLS listing for your sale. There were a number of characteristics which were inaccurate, which led to an inaccurate assessment previously. So we have now updated the property record to reflect what is actually standing on the property, which has resulted in an increase in the assessed value.
Even to me, the inaccuracy, how is that? That's very false then, to be even putting any amount on any public listing because of your inaccuracy. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not $20. I get it. We're not talking about the amount, but this is a significant amount of increase based on your inaccuracy, you're telling me. Because those listings of all those upgrades still had the false amount on it, again, based on what you're telling me. Like I said, the changes are still the same. There's no changes. All I'm asking is for a fair chance to somehow compromise to make this budget fit what I already had in my mind, what my budget was going to be. It is so significant that it does create a huge dent in my budget. Like, I just, this is a huge dent, and it's really going to be a struggle for me to try to fix this monthly. And all I'm asking is some kind of compromise to meet in the middle, because like I said, because it wasn't my inaccuracy that put that amount for the public to view.
So looking at the presentation by the city in regards to the value of your property, they have come along and said that the assessment is $240,000, okay, with the valuation date or the V day of April the 1st, 2018. And they have thrown in what they think are their comparables. So in looking at the comparable properties, do you feel as if the assessment is correct or incorrect, or what evaluation, never mind, you can't really discuss your taxes here, okay? So, you talk about the budget per month and it's got a bearing on it, but unfortunately, the board only deals with assessed value. That has, like I say, has got a bearing on taxes. So in looking at the presentation by the city and the comparable properties, what do you think the evaluation should be according to what is presented here, or what do you think?
I don't even know if it matters what I think, because
Well, the presentation that you have in front of you, it talks about similar properties, and that's what they're trying to do, is determine the market value of your property. So it can be, it's got a bearing on taxes, yes, but so do you feel like Yale Street is comparable to yours? It's a 2-story and it's a little smaller. It's got a part basement. So, and that sold in December of 2017 for $150,000.
well, there's some comparables that are similar. Yes, I do agree.
Looking at the comparables, what do you conclude from the presentation by the city in regards to the evaluation of your property?
There's some that are similar.
So
Again, I have no understanding of how figures are made up, but yeah, some of the descriptions are similar. Not ideal,
what
but
about
similar.
prices at the bottom that they have here? Look at the below at the bottom, the registration date. That's the date that it's sold, and there's a sale price. So the range is $212,000 as high as I think $259,000. So that's the range of your property, and they've come in and they're at $240,000. So do you believe it should be lower, or what? I'm trying to help you.
I guess the amount is current to the value of my home. Is pretty close to it. I'm looking at it right now. I think it is current to or close to it.
So do you feel as if, like you're here this morning to appeal your assessment? The assessment is $240,000. So do you believe that is correct? Or obviously by appealing, you think it should be lower? So you can help the panel by stating what you wish.
I've already stated, yes, the assessment is pretty close to it, but again, I'm stating my point, but it's not even being included in this. The assessment, you keep repeating yourself, the assessment is close to what the value should be. So come next year, is that going to be changed significantly again? I guess you don't have that conclusion.
Can you answer that question for the applicant?
I can't really speculate on what changes might happen with taxes.
Yeah. So the amount is close to it. Yeah. So if for that question, the assessment value, sure, it is close to it, in saying that I don't agree with the amount that it produced as a result to the taxes, because again, it was such a jump. But again, this is not what this meeting's about. So
before we get into your presentation, okay, I'll see whether our members of the panel have any questions. Ms. Garrity, is any questions in regards to the assessor's brief?
Just one, and that is in regard to the error that was mentioned. I didn't quite understand that. I think Dean said that he got the information from an MLS listing that had been incorrect in the prior time. So maybe you could clarify that for me.
Yeah, so what happened before was we had an inaccurate property record There were updates to the record based on the MLS listing. Previously, we had the building type as a 1.5 story, which is inaccurate. It is a 2-story building. There was a deck missing off the record. There was no air conditioning on the record, and the home has seen some upgrades. So we added an effective age to reflect the fact that there has been upgrades on the house as well.
Okay, thank you.
I thank you. Mr. Verlook?
My question to the assessor, what was the valuation before you made all these adjustments?
I don't have that in front of me. I'm sorry.
Because in effect, that valuation was what would in effect make the difference that the appellant was concerned about, not concerned, but thinking about. That was what the property taxes was based on, that previous assessment. And then when you made all these adjustments, then of course that increased the amount of the taxes that would be due. Is that correct?
It would appear that is what she is.
The taxes that she got a letter that said that she had to make a monthly payment that is lower than it is now. And that was based on the previous assessment before all the adjustments were made. Is that correct?
There would have been what she saw on the MLS listing, which is what she was budgeting for, would have been off of the record with the inaccuracies on it.
Right.
Anything further, Mr. Verlook?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Mr. Thiessen, the subject property is quite big for a 2-story compared to the comparables that you have, like 1 to 4, eh? So,
Sorry, I should say.
yeah. So, when you say part basement, what does that consist of? Like, is it just a part basement? Or?
Are you asking?
No,
I don't know who you're asking.
the assessor, and then we're gonna come to you.
So a part basement would just be a basement that does not cover the entirety of the main floor area. Okay. So what that constitutes, I can't say for sure, but it's not a full basement.
And when you say surface foundation, is that a slab?
Surface foundation is basically there's a small crawl space between the land and where the actual building is. So it's kind of like a slab, but not exactly.
Did you get a chance to look at the property at all?
I did not.
All right. We're going to come back to you, the applicant, and do you have a presentation that you want to talk about other than what we had just discussed? Or do you wish to sort of conclude value for your property, what you think it should be?
Well, I did present my presentation initially already, and the presented value, yes, it is close to what it should be.
All right.
I don't have any.
Mr. Thiessen, would you like a chance to summarize it all?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further, Madame?
No, I'm good.
I'm fine.
You leave it with us, and we'll give you results very soon. So thank you for your presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do I leave the meeting? I guess.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay. The next property we're going to deal with is number 14, Harlow Bay.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'll just affirm you in before we get started.
Okay.
Can you state your full name, please?
Shogo Solomon Fashaide.
And do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Harlow.
File number 22?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so this is the guy, I think.
Okay.
He did not submit anything.
Okay, good. All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
We will first hear from the assessor in regards to your property. So, Mr. Thiessen, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. 14 Harlow Bay, roll number 090104344100 is located in the Canterbury Park neighborhood. It is a two-story build built in 2013. The living area is 1895 square feet. It has a full basement. The basement is finished. It has 2 full bathrooms and 1 half bathroom. It has central air conditioning. It has 2 fireplaces, an attached multi-car garage, and the assessed lot size is 4392 square feet. The comps are all in the Canterbury Park neighborhood as well, are all 2-story buildings built between 2009 and 2013, with a living area between 1736 square feet to 1940 square feet. They all have full basements as well. 2 of them do not have finished basements, while 2 of them do. Comps 1 and 2 do not. Comps 3 and 4 do. The bathrooms are slightly variable, with comps 2 and 3 having an extra shower over above what the subject does. Comps 2 and 3 do have fireplaces, while comps 1 and 4 do not. The assessed lot size varies between 4325 square feet to 4909 square feet. And the time adjusted sale prices range from $395,200 to $440,100, which is on a square foot basis between $209.71 per square foot to $227.65 per square foot. The subject did sell in December, so it is a post-reference sale, December of 2020. And I believe that the assessed value at $422,000 or $222.69 per square foot is supported. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sir, do you have any questions of the assessor's brief that you just heard?
No, sir.
None?
Yes.
No, okay. You can ask questions of the assessor in regards to their brief. Any questions?
Can I just ask, we only got the one document on this one?
Hang on 1 second.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
No questions.
Okay. Sir, do you have any questions?
Oh, the only question I have is that I'm just surprised. The house is there for like 7 years and nothing has changed from the building. I moved in last year, December, and I was surprised why my tax is up.
Do you have any questions in regards to what you just heard from the assessor?
No, sir. No.
None? Okay.
No.
And panel members, I don't think you have any questions.
No questions.
No questions.
All right, we're ready for your presentation, sir. Do you have anything? Did you submit anything?
Sorry, like what?
Okay. It's your opportunity to discuss what you think the assessed value of your property is.
Okay. What I see is that when I moved in last year in November, the house was same thing. I did nothing from the house. The basement is same. Everything is just the same. For like 6 years, the house is the same. So when I moved in, I was surprised. Why is my tax up?
Mr. Thiessen?
Yes. So what happened was, again, we updated the property record to reflect what is actually standing on the property. There were characteristics which were missing. We did not have a finished basement on our record. We did not have an air conditioner. We did not have the fireplaces. We did not have a deck area and patio and a shed off the back. So all of these characteristics were not part of our record previously, which resulted in an increase to the assessed value.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything further?
No, sir.
What do you think the value should be?
I think the value should be the same thing. Why I'm confused is that for 6 years the house is the same. Why for that 6 years? Why can't you guys just come in and check to assess the house for 6 years? That is where I'm kind of confused.
Mr. Thiessen?
There's any number of reasons why we might not be able to get out to the property, whether there were permits pulled for the work or whether it was just a matter of staffing and not being able to get out to do a canvass of the area to verify characteristics that may or may not be present on properties. In this case, I do not see the permits for the work, particularly the basement finish. So with that being the case, we wouldn't really have visibility to the fact that it is there. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Garrity, any questions?
Again, clarification for me, on the only document that I have, it shows the subject sales and it shows it blacked out for December 2020. So I'm not sure if that is when Mr. Fasayed bought the property. But again, it sounds that there wasn't I don't see a clear document as to what it was just prior to that, when he purchased versus the amount now that's showing with the comparisons. That's a little obtuse. Does that make any sense to you, Dean? It's just there's no value for Mr. Fasayed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, the reason why it's post-reference, so it shouldn't be
okay.
like, because our evaluation is of April the 1st, 2018. So it's post-reference, so it's not really allowed.
Okay. We don't have a prior assessment though. Like this is the 2021. We can't use anything other than that to see what he's talking about.
No.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Mr. Faluk?
No, I have no questions. I was considering the same question that was asked.
Okay. Either party want summation at all?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything further, sir?
Nothing, sir.
Okay, leave it with us. I thank you for your presentation this morning and results very soon. So thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
I got cut out the last time.
What's that, Rob?
Well, when the previous applicant left, all of a sudden I was cut out also. So I hope that doesn't happen this time.
Okay. So we'll go on to the third one on the docket, number 32 Clarendon Road. So, I'm sorry?
I'm letting in the applicant.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jeff. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, just before we get started, I will affirm you in. Are you both going to be giving evidence this morning?
Yeah, this is my wife, Deborah.
Hi. Hello. I'll swear you both in, but separately, okay?
Okay.
And we'll start with Deborah. If you can state your full name, please.
Deborah Hallhead.
And you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. And Jeffrey, can you state your full name, please?
Jeffrey Hallhead.
You affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Just give me 1 second here and yes. Hopefully. Come on. Okay. So good morning to you both. As you probably heard, we will first hear from the assessor in regards to your property, and you may ask questions after that, and it'll be your opportunity. So Mr. Thiessen, take us through this property.
Okay, thank you. 32 Clarendon Road, roll number 0600656700. It's located in the Niagara Place neighborhood. It is a one-story building built in 1969. The living area is 1360 square feet. It has a full basement with basement finish. Has one full bathroom and 2 half bathrooms. It does have central air. It has a fireplace, and it has a detached multi-car garage. The assessed lot size is 6268 square feet. The comps that I have are in 3 different neighborhoods. One is in Niagara Place, like the subject, and one is in Southdale, and 2 are in Windsor Park. It's nearby neighborhoods for the ones that are not the same as the subject. The year built ranges from 1961 to 1968. They are all one-story buildings as well. The living area ranges from 1260 square feet to 1380 square feet. They all have finished basements, as does the subject. The bathroom count varies slightly between all of the comps and the subject. They all have central air. There are no fireplaces in any of the comps. There are detached garages in 3 of the comps 2, 3, and 4, that are multi-car garages, and then comp 1 has an attached single car garage rather than having a detached multi-car garage. The assessed lot sizes range from 5775 square feet to 6555 square feet. And there are land influences on comps 2 and 4. Comp 2 has an external corner influence, and comp 4 has a bus route, external corner, and medium traffic influence. The time-adjusted sale prices range from $339,200 to $386,200, and the price per square foot time adjusted is a range of $249.41 per square foot to $291.67 per square foot. And I believe that the assessed value at $387,000 or $284.56 per square foot is supported at the April 1st, 2018 valuation date. Thank you. And the subject did have a post-reference sale in October of 2020. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the assessor?
Yeah, I have questions. So in the letter that I got in the mail from the assessor, it stated that the reason for the reassessment was due to interior alterations. So could you tell me specifically what interior alterations were considered?
So we did review the MLS listing for your sale. What was considered, we added basement finish, we added a deck, we added the electric fireplace, we added a half bathroom, and we added an effective age to reflect the fact that there have been upgrades done to the property.
Okay. Was there any other evidence besides the MLS listing used to determine these upgrades?
No, we did use just the MLS listing from what I have seen.
All right. So just looking at the comparables, I noticed that the range is from around 339 to 386. The average price of them is 365. So just curious, why do you feel that my property should be at the very top of that range, or $20,000 above sort of the average in that range?
So firstly, I wouldn't be looking at averages. What I looked at was the properties themselves, and I looked at what the differences between the properties were. So whether that is, the presence of different bathroom counts or different garages, or the lack of fireplaces, all of that I did take into consideration when I did look at the value.
Okay. So I want to take a look at 69 Pine Bluff, which had a time adjusted sale price of $369,000. So I did a little bit of research on that one. It's actually one of the comparables that I'm going to present. And according to its MLS listing, it has a completely remodeled kitchen with solid wood cabinets, with granite countertops. It has full frame PVC windows. So kind of in my opinion, that particular property should be valued higher than mine. So is that something that you took into consideration, like the kitchen cabinets and the windows?
I did. I also noted that in your personal purchase, the MLS did list the shingles were updated, the furnace, interior doors and trim, flooring, bathrooms, kitchen, electrical. So I made a consideration of all of that as well. Additionally, the area of the basement finish is larger on your property than it is on that property. So that's something also I took into consideration. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, that's all the questions I had.
All right, we'll see whether our panel members have any questions. Ms. Garrity?
No questions, Ron.
Thank you. Mr. Fallu?
No questions.
I never caught exactly how you did some, we were talking about upgrades, the interior, and you said that you got it off the MLS listing. So when exactly was that done?
I don't have the date of when we actually updated the record.
Field sheet or anything like that?
No, I don't have it with me, unfortunately.
Okay.
It was early in 2020, I know that.
Okay. So, but if you're looking at a V-Day of April the 1st, 18, How is that applicable to the subject?
Well, we do value based off of what is currently standing on the property.
Yes.
We don't look at what it was as of April 1st of 2018. We look at the value of the current property if it had sold on April 1st of 2018.
Okay, given its current physical condition.
Yes.
I noticed that you have older sales in here. The most closest one to the V-Day is January 25th, 2018. All the rest of them are, you have 2 in 16 and 1 in 17. So is there a trend where the market is going up at that particular time?
The market has steadily increased over the course of that entire period, pre-reference and post-reference still even.
And like you say, there is a post-reference sale that we really don't know about, so we can't really go there.
Correct.
But I see that all the comparables are of similar size and around the same vintage in regards to age and that. So, yeah. All right. I thank you, Mr. Thiessen. It is your opportunity now. Do you have a brief? I think you probably do. Okay, we'll just.
Yes, I do.
Okay, we'll go to your brief. Just give us a second, okay?
Sure.
Okay, I think we have it here, so the floor is yours, sir.
So is it all right with you if I pull up my brief on the screen share? Or do you want me to just kind of talk through it?
No, you can take us through this.
Okay. So, all right. So really there's 3 main points that I want to present today. First is there's some inaccuracies or misleading information in the MLS listing. So I think this is important since the MLS listing is kind of the main source of information that the assessor used in order to do the assessment. Second are some examples of shoddy workmanship regarding some of the recent upgrades that were done to the property. And third, I have a list of 5 comparables that I'm going to present that I feel are more in line with the true value of my property. So first of all, the MLS listing that I've shown on page 3 of my brief indicates that there are updated doors and windows. So, this is simply not an accurate statement. The windows themselves have the original wood frames from 1969. The glass in the windows was replaced in 1990. However, the overall condition of the windows is very poor. So I included some pictures of some of the windows. On page 4, you can see that the living room window, the frame is totally rotten. It caused some water actually to leak down and damage the wall underneath. So on page 5, you can see a picture of it. This is essentially a picture of what I saw when I pulled back the casing after we noticed the water damage. The windows themselves are also prone to icing up in the wintertime. So the doors are also listed as being updated. Now on page 6, you can see that the doors are actually quite old and beat up. So there's a picture of the back door. It's got several large dents in it. On page 7, there's another picture of the door. It's totally split down the middle. And, overall, I'd say like the doors are in pretty bad condition. They don't seal properly, which causes drafts in the winter. There's major frost buildup that happens around the doors for both the front and the back. Now, the next, the next item I want to talk about is the kitchen refacing. So the ad states that the kitchen was refaced in 2015. Now, typically, refacing refers to replacing the actual cabinet doors with new ones. So in this case, the doors were not replaced. They were just simply painted white. So on page 8, I've got some pictures of that. The original doors painted white. You can see that the condition is not very good. Also, in the pictures, from the MLS ad, it looks like the doors have glass panels, but they're actually just clear plastic panels. And again, you can see pictures of those. Yeah, they're just glued on. Some of them are actually broken, and some of them have just fallen right off. Yeah. Now on page 9, I just have another picture of the kitchen. So it's got floor tiles used as countertops. The grout is discolored. And, I have another picture of this. There's an unfinished edge here. It's actually sharp, and there's some exposed plywood. So overall, I would say, this kitchen update was not done well. It's in poor condition, and I think that should be reflected in the assessment as well. So next, I just have some examples of shoddy workmanship. So the assessor mentioned that the doors, updates to the interior doors were considered in the reassessment. So the doors are the original doors. They were simply painted white. However, the painting was not done properly. It wasn't primed. So if you look at page 10 of my brief, you can see that, the paint has just completely peeled off of this bathroom door. And, that's the case for the other doors as well. Next, I have an example of a toilet that was installed improperly, which actually caused water to leak into the basement. On page 11, I've got an example of a sloppy flooring install. This is from the ensuite bathroom. So you can see there's gaps where the baseboard is. There's kind of a section that looks like it was patched up poorly. The vanity was installed right over top of the heating vent. And these are just a few examples. The fireplace is one that I'd also like to bring up. So it is an electric fireplace, and when we moved into the place, we found a note on the fireplace that said, "Do not use the heat function. Caution." And that was from the previous homeowner. So we followed up with our real estate agent, and he followed up with her. And she didn't really give us a good answer, but we've done a little bit we've looked at it, and it produces heat, but there's really nowhere for the heat to escape. So the heat kind of just builds up behind. So, I mean, it's really unusable at this point. So yeah, without us, going and fixing it. And the other thing I'd like to bring up is that no permits were pulled since 2000, with the exception of the electric water heater. So there was electrical work done for the fireplace. There was electrical work done in the kitchen. No permits were pulled for any of that. So, it just really shows that, the updates were made, but they were clearly not made by professionals, and they were not done well. And now we're starting to see that, they're kind of falling apart, and we're looking at having to redo all of those updates right now. Okay. So next, I have a list of comparable sales. So I took a look at 5 properties. They're all in the Niagara Place area. They're all bungalows. They all have garages. They all have finished basements. The ages range from 1968 to 1971. They have an average square foot of 1342. The average time adjusted sale price is $352,000. And the price per square foot ranges from $250 to $279. So the first one is 69 Pine Bluff, which I kind of already talked about. It sold, or its time adjusted sale price is $369,700. So I thought this one was pretty comparable to my property. However, I think it is worth noting that it does have a completely remodeled kitchen with granite countertops. So, in my opinion, this property should be assessed higher, than mine. The one that I thought was the closest was number 344 Southmore, with a time adjusted sale price of $353,000. So it was the closest in terms of specs, condition, upgrades. There's a couple differences. It's got a single attached garage, whereas my property has a double detached garage. It's a little bit smaller. However, it also has a remodeled kitchen from 2013. It's got refinished hardwood floors. It has new windows and doors from 2006. And this is all information that I've obtained based on its MLS listing. So, kind of based on the evidence that I've presented today, I'm recommending that the assessed value of my property be changed to $353,000.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thiessen, questions of the applicant?
I just have a question. Like, was the deficiencies that you've all mentioned, was that very evident on your first walkthrough of the house, or was it something that you kind of?
No, not at all. Like, I think, the previous owner did a really good job of kind of dressing the place up, and, like the windows, we didn't notice till really the winter. Obviously the doors, the paint looked perfect when we purchased the place. But then the paint started to peel off. The kitchen, I mean, if you're to just look at the kitchen, like do a quick walkthrough or just look at pictures, it looks okay. It looks like it's lipstick, really. It's been freshened up. But if you really look at, like, the cabinets are old and, they're not in good shape. The work wasn't done, professionally. So to answer your question, no, like when we first bought the property, we thought we were getting something totally different. So we've had a lot of surprises. We've had to fix a lot of stuff, and we're looking at having to fix a lot more. So yeah, I just feel like that should be reflected in the price.
Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garrity, questions?
No, I just wanted to say I agree with the pictures that we looked at initially. It looked so good. And as you say, you don't see those things close up, but thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Fluke?
I have no other questions. I must compliment you on your presentation. It's well done. And it gives us a lot to consider. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I just have a couple questions. I know you bought the property, it's post-reference, we really can't use it, but you bought this property in the fall time?
That's correct.
So couldn't really tell what the windows were like at that particular time, I guess, eh?
Well, we knew that they were originally wood frame, and we knew when we bought the property that they would probably need to be replaced. Within, we were kind of budgeting to have them replaced within 5 years, but based on some of the problems that we had over the winter, we're thinking, that's going to be accelerated, so they're going to need to be replaced a lot sooner.
Windows and doors.
Did you have an appraisal done at all, or a home inspection or anything like that at the time?
We had a walkthrough home inspection when we purchased the property. We didn't have any appraisal, but kind of like the market was pretty crazy last year with COVID and everything, and we were sort of really desperate to get into a little bit bigger house, and that's just kind of the way it goes, I guess.
I guess based on the door, did you have a break in there, or?
That was that's kind of, I can't remember who we were talking to about that, but yeah, that's what they suggested. There's also there's kind of like a metal trim around the door. It's not the original frame. So that's kind of the theory, is that it might have been kicked in.
Was that the way the door was when you bought it?
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
No, we didn't go, we didn't open the door and inspect it. We came in through the front door and went out through the front door.
Okay. And how do you arrive at the what you're seeking? You feel as if the assessment could be 353, and how did you conclude that?
So that was based on the comparables. The comparable that I thought was the closest was number 3, and it sold for 353. So I felt that it's pretty similar. It was also within the range of the other 4 that I presented.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I only have so much information to go on, right? Because I don't, I only know what properties sold, and I don't necessarily know too much about the condition of those properties.
But just looking at that one, that happened in 2016, right? So it was probably the lowest that is there. So if you look at comparable number 4, that happened in 18, right? So you're at the 366. I'm just pointing this out. So
yeah, fair point.
So a lot has happened since, in those probably 2 years.
So my understanding was that the time adjusted sale price is supposed to factor in when it was sold.
Well,
is that right?
Within reason too, but when you look at time adjustments, what is current and what is a year old or 2 years old, that's market value.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Anyways, Mr. Thiessen, would you wish to summarize if you like?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further word, sir?
No, just thank you for your time.
I thank you for your excellent presentation and results very soon. So thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that concludes your part. Okay. Does somebody want a little bit of a break here, or are we okay? Shell?
I'm okay.
I'm fine.
Good.
You okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, let's go on. So we'll go to 603 Oak Street. Michelle is probably just gonna open it up. Okay.
Hi, Suzanne. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay, so I will just affirm you in and then we can get started.
Thank you.
Pardon me, can you state your full name, please?
Suzanne Fiola.
And do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing should be the truth, the whole truth? and
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your patience, and we will hear from Mr. Thiessen first. So, Mr. Thiessen, whenever you're ready, you can take us through the subject property.
Thank you. 603 Oak Street, roll number 12050814 or sorry, 120508140000. Located in Central River Heights neighborhood. It's a one-story build, built in 1950. Living area of 1088 square feet, has a full basement with basement finish, has one full bathroom, one half bathroom, and one shower. It does have central air, no fireplaces, has a detached single car garage, has an assessed lot size of 5,063 square feet. The comps are all located in Central River Heights neighborhood as well. They're all one-story buildings built between 1951 and 1955. Living areas between 1,064 square feet to 1,326 square feet. The bathroom counts are all very similar. Comp 4 has 2 full bathrooms rather than having another half bathroom with a shower. They all have full basements. They all have finished basements. And all the other characteristics are the same as well. They all have central air, no fireplaces, and a detached single car garage. The assessed lot size for the comps is between 4,740 square feet to 6,076 square feet. 3 of the comps have land influences. Comp 2 does not have any. Comp 1 has an external corner and light traffic. Comp 3 has bus route, commercial adjacent, external corner, and heavy traffic. And Comp 4 has a school. The time adjusted sale price ranges from $377,900 to $435,400. And the range for time adjusted sale price per square foot is $293.82 per square foot to $359.11 per square foot. The subject did sell twice post reference in 2020, once in September, then it was renovated and flipped and sold in November of 2020. I believe that the assessed value is supported at $402,000 or $369.49 per square foot, based on a market value at April 1st of 2018. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions of the assessor?
For myself, if I have questions?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I wasn't able to see your information that you were going to present. The only information I got was the MLS listing. So just in quickly listening to you here, I did notice that you mentioned that the average or the range of cost per square foot for the comps that you're referring to was between $293 and $359. Yet you have assessed mine, or you have the value that you gave mine was above that at $369. I didn't catch the exact number there, but it seemed above. Can you explain that to me?
Hang on for 1 second. I have the same thing. I have an MLS listing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've got too.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So maybe we'll take a 5-minute break and see whether we can find this.
That's all.
Thank you.
Well, hang on for 1
Drew,
second.
are you there?
Yes.
Was it just the MLS listing that you sent over? Because that's all I have.
There was an MLS listing, a map, and the comp sheet.
Okay, let's take a break and
Yeah, let's take a about a 5-minute or 10-minute break, and we'll try to find this because all we have is the MLS listing.
Right.
It's probably, so bear with us. So
Thank
we'll
you.
shut the camera off and we'll
Thank
take
you.
a break. Okay, thank you. All right. We'll call a hearing back to order.
I'm here, yeah.
All right. Do you have material, Susan?
I hear you. Yeah, I'm just making calculations and stuff, but with the brief, but I'm ready. I trust you guys to support me in my questions here.
Do you have a copy of the brief?
I did receive it about 5 minutes ago, yes.
Bear with me for 1 second.
Thank you.
Okay. Don't have it.
Oh, my God.
How about, Robert, do you have it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so why?
Because I didn't put it in your. Put it too many places.
All right.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to have it. In the meantime, Suzanne, did you have any questions of the assessor's brief?
Well, the question that was posed before this whole issue about not having access to the assessor's brief is, in listening to his brief, I noted that the range of price per foot or price per, I don't know what the exact wording is, it was between $293 and $359, yet I did notice that he mentioned that mine was assessed at $369 ish per square foot. And I'm just wondering what the justification or the reasoning is behind that.
You can pose that as a question to him, and you can probably receive an answer. So, Mr. Thiessen, did you understand the question?
I understood the question. So what we would be looking at there is that there are negative land influences on a number of these properties. Also, price per square foot will be driven up the lower the square footage. So as square footage decreases, the price per square foot likely increases, as long as everything else kind of remains the same.
I didn't quite understand what you meant by decreases of the square footage.
Like if the total square footage of living area is decreasing, so like some of these comps are at 1326 square feet, whereas the subject's at 1088 square feet. The law of diminishing returns, as you decrease the size of the living area, the price per square foot, all other things remaining equal, will likely increase as the square footage goes down.
Suzanne, any more questions of the assessor's brief?
I just want to know what his assessment was based on. I know that, that I hadn't seen the MLS listing till I received it from you guys, so I'm assuming it's the MLS listing, but what did you base your reassessment on?
Yes, we did review the MLS listing and we updated the property record from there. We reviewed it for the November 2020 sale and updated based on that one because that is the way that it currently stands. So what we did at that point was we added basement finish, added a half bathroom with a shower, and increased the effective age to reflect the fact that the property has been updated for other things like the flooring and the kitchen and etc.
Okay. Can I ask more questions, or do I wait for the monitor, the person who's leading the meeting, or do I just ask more questions?
I'm sorry, Susan?
Do I just ask more questions at this point? Is it a, okay, 'cause I remember reading that I went through you, so I just wasn't too sure about the chairperson or speaking directly to Mr. Thiessen.
You are entitled to ask questions in regards to their brief.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, so your information was from the MLS listing, so you're not aware of like the condition of the garage or the fact that it's a 1990 air conditioner or the fact that it's a partially finished basement, in that it's probably about 66%, 2/3 finished, max would be 75, kind of thing. Like those things weren't taken into consideration.
For the basement finish, we actually only have 60% of the basement being finished. So that is, yeah. For the garage, I did view some satellite imagery. It does, I did see what kind of condition the garage is in. It's not a brand new garage, but it does seem to be structurally sound.
It does, pardon me, it does or it doesn't?
Well, based on the satellite imagery, it does appear to be structurally sound. What was the other thing you mentioned?
The area of the finished basement, the garage. Oh, the air conditioner is in 1990. Just like it's going to be, we do have air conditioning. We think, we haven't tried it out yet, but just those kind of things were not necessarily information that you had access to.
Yeah. So the air conditioning, we would be looking at whether it's actually there or not whether it was built in the year.
Okay. So just so you know, the eave strop is falling off the garage. The garage door is impossible to open and shut without, putting weights and tying it down kind of thing, and both the pedestrian door. And the pedestrian door doesn't swing open because the frame of it is falling apart. So it's not a very trustworthy garage. Like, it'll have to be replaced soon. But yeah. So, okay, just wanting to know what you based your. I think that's all I have. Given that I just got the brief recently, is the questioning with regards to the price per square footage and the.
Okay. We'll see whether our panel members have any questions. Ms. Garrity, any questions?
This is for the assessor?
Correct.
Okay. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Paluk.
I just have one question. It seems that the subject sales were 2 in 2020, twice. Does that mean that the house was sold in September and then also sold in November? Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, it was purchased and then renovated and flipped.
Oh, okay.
The only problem, Bob, is that it's post reference.
Yeah, I understand.
Deal with that.
Yeah, I saw it blanked out.
Yeah. Any more questions?
No, thank you.
I just have Mr. Thiessen. This is River Heights, and there's lots of sales that go on in River Heights, and but I'm just looking at the comparables, and like the only. You have sales here in 2016 and 2 of them in 17 and 1 in 18, and, to nail them, the market value for the subject property, I'd like to see more current sales, compared to old ones, because the old one here is in 16. And mind you, it is a little larger, but you should be able to find, probably more current or close to the reference date sales. But this is, sometimes this is the best you can do, but this is, a single family house, and it's, maybe 1,100 square feet. So what do you think?
Well, I would be looking at sales that are representative of the subject. So that's what I pulled. I'm not really overly concerned about the actual date of the sale. We do the time adjustment to reflect the fact that there has been changes in the market over the time. So I would try first to be looking for comparables that are representative of the subject.
I guess my only argument with time adjustment sales, I mean, they've just brought this in within the last few years with time adjustments, and I don't think it's a way of doing it, but I still believe that if you get close to the reference date for a sale, that is market, and that should be the rate per square foot, never mind time adjustment. I mean, if I look at a time adjustment in regards to this sale price per square foot, if you look at comparable number one, it's only $1 or $2 a square foot based on the age. I mean, based on the date of sale. Whereas, if you look at number two, it's $25 a square foot. But in 16, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's the way the assessment has decided to go for time adjustments. Correct?
Yeah, can I address that? So we would be looking at, there has been definitely a larger change in the market from 2016 to April 1st, 2018 versus, January 2018 to April 2018. There's been that slow, steady increase during that 3 months, but compared to looking back at April of 2016, that's 2 full years of change in the market. So, of course, there's going to be a larger change in the time adjustment because of that.
Very well. Susan, we're ready for your presentation.
All right, thank you. So I've sent you a brief or with my technological know-how. I typed out something that I wanted to mention, and I don't think I need to state it word for word. Like, there's some things about the background of buying the house and how we arrived at that are not pertinent here, I think. But just to
brief summary.
So just basically, with COVID, trying to get out of a condo situation, looking for a house for an asthmatic young child to be safe in. He's a university student, so trying to do that within the time frame before university studies would start. Had put some offers on 3 houses, but they sold for 20 to 30% above asking. So we had to change our budget. We kind of knew that's what we were looking at. Our real estate agent helped us find this place that he knew was going up for sale after a flip. So he walked us through there very quickly in the old state. We brought a construction worker with us to kind of look at it, make sure, it's solid. We asked for spec sheets to know what the renovations would be, and then took the leap of faith, checked that the contractors were reputable, and took a leap of faith, and we're happy with what we bought and the renovations. They're good quality. It's not like a really fancy finish, but it's a good quality, good finish. So I have sent you a spec sheet that shows the renos that were done. Maybe I should mention that the previous assessment was 311 and it's now up at 402. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention the word assessment or not, but that's kind of, I'm thinking it's a little bit high. So I sent spec sheets. So basically they redid the kitchen, redid the upstairs bathroom, the basement bathroom, or half bathroom. They finished 60% of the basement, including a bedroom, and which was already there, but I don't know if they changed it, but there's already a bedroom there, but they modified it. And then paint throughout, new windows and doors, almost all of them, except for the when you look at the pictures, the living room windows, that whole wall. And one of the basement windows wasn't changed. And again, good quality, like they put triple pane windows and good quality doors. Like it's an investment. So the investor took possession in September, and we took possession in November after the flip. The construction wasn't finished because of COVID. So we were kind of living, or my son, because he lives there, I don't, was kind of living like a camping situation, doing his dishes in the tub. So exterior, there was no significant work done. I asked that they do some grading, and they covered the front steps with some cedar, and they kind of leveled some of the patio stones that were already there, is what was done in the exterior. So nothing done to the garage or the backyard, with holes in it or whatever, it wasn't touched. So if I look at comparables, and again, I'm not going to repeat details, but I've listed here as the assessor, Mr. Thiessen, has listed in his is the criteria that apply to 603 Oak Street. And then I had asked my real estate agent to send me some comparables dated to like April 1st, 2018, which I understand is the reference date that I'm to use. So I asked them to do that, and I copied the link, and I'm not sure if you're able to access that, but it's got 15 properties that he listed, and I chose to focus on, and he listed them in order from like the least expensive to the most expensive. And I thought that amongst those, the 13th listed, so almost the highest price. I just want a fair reassessment. I don't want, was the property at on Niagara, 586 Niagara. And the reason I chose that property is that it seems to be a 3-bedroom. It's got 2 bathrooms compared to 1.5. It's got a little bit more square footage in 1114. It's got a slightly smaller lot size in, by maybe 60 square feet or something like that. So, and it looks, from what I could find on that multiple listing or the matrix that my real estate agent showed me, it looks like it got sold twice in 2016, which is within the reference period, for $256 and in June, and then in December for $365. So the time adjusted is stated to be $271 and $379.5 or $380 respectively. So that to me seemed like the most comparable, in that it seems to have had a reno of kitchens, bathroom. The basement is partially finished. I didn't see their utility room, so I don't know if it's unfinished like ours or not. I didn't see pictures of that. It seems like there's a bar area in the basement. So it just seemed very comparable. And so that's the one I would like to focus on. There are other places in that matrix that are comparable as well, but that's the one that I thought was the most comparable. And in the matrix, the low is 270, which is way too low, to 397. So even that is still lower than the assessed value of 402. So, and some of them have larger lots or a better garage, things like that. So And then I looked at the sales book, and I found information just that's there about 663 Ash and 673 Oxford. Both have over 1,100 square feet, 1,139 and 1,118 respectively. They have their lots are 6,000 rather than mine is closer to 5,000. I think mine is 5,060 or something, 5,063. So I thought those two were, if not comparable, probably valued higher than mine. And they sold in the one on Ash sold in August 16 and then again in December 17. And 325, 360 were the prices. And the time adjusted 363 is what's noted on the sales book. So there's that information. And then Oxford, it sold in July 2016 for 330, time adjusted 348. So just those are similar properties, comparables. And to me, some of them are better, larger properties than mine. And they seem to be around the 350, 360 mark or something like that. So I'm asking that that our value be reassessed to reflect a more fair assessment, especially the 369.49 per square foot. That is what the assessor has deemed as has assessed mine at, whereas other comparables that he's noted, outside of the ones that have lot influences like some noise or things like that. I would think that the one with the school, actually, that's a plus, but I don't know. Does that increase or decrease the value? I would think it would increase, but maybe I'm wrong. So given that information, it just seems like mine is assessed on the high side, and I would ask you to reconsider. And so that's mine. In the information that we received, there seemed to be a question about, what work have I done since I purchased it, and what work do I foresee? And I mean, it's a really recent purchase, and with COVID and winter. But the only things that I've done is I've added a shed because the garage is in such bad shape, and I certainly plan to work outside, like address some grading issues. Storm doors weren't installed, window wells. I've stated all that in my note that I sent to you, and I don't think it's of any importance at this point. You can ask me if you want me to speak on those things. Thank you.
Stephen, what value are you seeking for your property then?
I'm not an expert, but just what I did just now, having seen the assessor's presentation, and really I'm kind of stuck on that per square foot, is I quickly did a calculation of, if our property of 1,088 square foot were valued at the lower point of his comparables, which was 293.82, that would be $320K. And if I took the highest and figured that out at the 359.91 per square foot, and that would be 391.58. And then I took the one of his comparables. I took the one that I thought was more comparable, which is the one that doesn't have those influences. It seems to fit with all the other criteria. Again, I don't know about the finishes or the updates that were done, but that one was 247 per square foot, and that would be about 378,000. So before I had seen those figures, I had just estimated in my, non-professional judgment that comparing to other places, it seemed like a right fit would be around 350, 360. But I really don't know. That's your job to do. And I'm just, that's my thinking.
All right, I thank you. Mr. Thiessen, questions of the applicant?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So your property is full renovation, and I saw that you have these two comparables in your report here at 586 Niagara and 663 Ash.
Yes.
Are you aware of any kind of renovations that they might have had done there, or?
What I'm basing my information on is that matrix or MLS, that portal that my real estate agent sent to me, and I sent the link in my notes. So I don't know if you have access to it or only I do, where he's listed 15 what he thought were comparables for me, and they're listed again from lowest to highest. And I picked like the 13th of the 15 because it seems to have sold twice in the relevant time period of I think it's June to December 2016. And it seems that from looking at the pictures, because I have a listing in the matrix, I'm able to look at pictures. So I was able to see that the kitchen seems comparable. It's got a peninsula, a kind of the same area. The bathrooms, the basement finish seems to have a bar. It just seemed like it was the most comparable in terms of what I had access to see.
Okay. And for these properties, I haven't had a chance to look at these because I only got this information just prior to the hearing, so I don't know too much about these properties at all. Do they have any influences or anything that might affect their value either?
In my notes, what I've noted is when it's the same as Oak Street, I haven't bothered writing it out. So I'm assuming that if I didn't say that it had a double garage or a 200 amp service or whatever, that it was comparable to our property, and where I have noted it in terms of the lot size being larger, that means that that's a significant difference from our property, is kind of the way I approached it. So without looking back into all the details, I don't have it laid out for you, but that's kind of the way I function to try to find a fair comparison.
Okay, thank you very much. I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Garrity, questions of the applicant?
No, thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Mr. Paluk?
No, actually, some of the questions that I did have been answered. Thank you very much.
Susan, I just have just a few questions. You stated that you've given us lots of data, I guess, but you've stated a couple things. I think you stated one thing was the rate per square foot, and you calculated it for your property, and it came to 378,000 for the assessment. Okay.
Okay.
But you also stated that you would be happy with around the 350,000 to 360. So I know you presented all kinds of data, and there's a few questions in regards to some of the estimates in regards to painting and electrical. So in total, what might that add up to? Especially, I guess, the electrical. And then you talked about mud wreckers.
Oh, okay. so to answer that last part, so those would be planned work that has to be done. The sidewalk near the front entrance has a really quite a slope to it towards the under part of the stairs. So I definitely want to have that lifted so it's leveled, so the water runs away from the building, not towards the building. So that's part of the grading. But I did phone them back early,
Did they give you an estimate or anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. It's taking a long time. It's a long story, but anyhow. And then electrical is simply that looking at the 100 amp service that's there and planning ahead that, in a few years we will have to replace that garage and build a new fence and things like that. It looks like there's only one spot left. And I think we'll probably have to upgrade to 200 amp service, because I would also at that time like to add some outlets and the house doesn't have any lighting in the ceiling lighting in the bedrooms. And I think that's very inconvenient. You can't even put a fan up there if you wanted to. So those are things that will eventually be done, is what I'm saying. Does that answer your question?
I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
What about the garage? What's the status of that?
The garage is a throwdown, basically. There are holes in the roof on the south side, so that when the snow was melting this spring, it was like a constant trickle on the left side, on the south side of the garage.
Do you consider it a tear down then?
I consider it a tear down. Yeah. Yeah.
So when we add up all the figures, what's it gonna, equate to?
You do.
For all the renovations, etc., that you might be doing.
Oh boy. Well, a garage, if we were going to build one, we'd probably build a double. So I would say, I don't know what the price of lumber these days might be, 25 to 30,000. I don't know. 200 amp service is a few $1,000s. I don't, I'm, 2 to 3, I'm guessing. I don't know, a new AC, new fences, there's significant work that needs to be done there.
All right. I think that's all my questions that I have. So, Mr. Thiessen, summary if you wish.
Sure. I do just want to say that based on the comparables and based on the condition and upgrades in the subject, that I do believe that the fair value would be approximately $402,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan, I just have one question. Who's living in the house right now? Your son?
My son is, yes.
All right. Final word then, Susan. Anything to add? Susan?
No, I think we've discussed it enough so that you have a clear picture, and I've presented the information that I think is pertinent.
Okay, I thank you very much for your presentation, and we'll let you know very shortly. So thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Mr. Thiessen, I think that concludes all of our business. I think, yes. So, Mr. Thiessen, thank you very kindly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant day.
You too.
You too.
You're a safe one.
Okay.